I'm Daniel, 45 years old, and the proud owner of a garage that represents the blood, sweat, and years I've poured into it. This place wasn't handed to me. It was built from scratch, one bolt at a time, fueled by pure determination. My journey started when I was 18, working at my uncle's auto shop. I spent 7 years there, learning everything I could, scraping together every bit of savings until I had enough to open my own place. The beginning was rough, long hours, sleepless nights, but I gave it everything I had. And slowly, it grew. Now, after 3 decades, it's become something bigger than I ever imagined. My personal life? That blossomed when I met Emily. We crossed paths at an auto show. She was a college student then, bright-eyed and curious. There was a spark immediately. We exchanged numbers and kept in touch, even with the distance. When she finally visited my town months later, the chemistry was undeniable. But life threw her a cruel twist. Her parents died suddenly, shaking her world. Watching her suffer tore at me, so I used my own money to make sure she could stay in school and finish her degree. She was overwhelmed with emotion, hugged me tightly, tears running down her face. It felt right, helping her, loving her. 5 years later, she moved in with me. Life felt complete. She got a job at a law firm, and we built a family together. Sarah, our daughter, is 18 now, almost done with university. Michael, our 17-year-old son, plays guitar in a local band. Seeing them chase their dreams fills me with pride I can't explain. But as time passed, Emily began to change. I knew her better than anyone. Her habits, her tone, the small lies she used to tell. When she landed a prestigious role working under a powerful attorney, I noticed a shift. She came home late more often. Emotionally, she started drifting. I didn't say anything for 3 months. I just watched, listened, waited. One night, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. "Why are you always getting home so late?" I asked, frustration creeping into my voice. She wasn't used to hearing me like that. After 20 minutes of tense silence and questions, she finally broke down. She told me the truth. She was seeing her boss. I felt the world tilt. I managed to ask her why. Her answer? "You haven't changed in 20 years. You're still stuck in that garage, wearing the same clothes. I need someone driven, someone commanding, someone who reflects who I've become. You're loyal, but that's not enough anymore." The words stung deeper than I expected. After all these years, that's what she saw in me, stagnation. "So," I said, "you're leaving after all this time because I don't fit the image you want now? Because I don't wear a suit or play politics?" I reminded her of everything, how I supported her education, how we raised our kids, built a life. But she was unmoved. "I'm moving on," she said flatly. "And if you try to fight me, I'll make sure you lose everything, your business, your home, everything you've worked for." I leaned back, a bitter smile playing on my lips. "You think threats will scare me?" She didn't blink. "You should be scared." The next morning, I overheard her on the phone. "Mark, there's a problem. Daniel knows everything." His voice came through steady. "It's okay. We've prepared for this." She sounded torn. I told him everything. He's always been good to me, but when he started listing all he's done for me, it just made me feel worse. Mark didn't flinch. "Give me the garage's address. I'll take care of it." That afternoon, he showed up at my shop. "Mr. Carter, mind if I step in?" he asked. I looked him square in the eye. "I know exactly who you are." He didn't back down. "Emily told you. I'm her boss. And I have the best legal team around. If you fight this, we'll drown you in court filings, divorce proceedings, restraining orders, whatever it takes. This garage? It'll be gone." I chuckled quietly. "You think threats and a fancy title scare me?" He smirked. "I've handled worse." I stood up, not with fear, but with the same resolve I had the day I opened this place. They thought they could take everything from me, but they had no idea who they were dealing with. Mark stood before me, his usual smug confidence cracking under the weight of my unwavering presence. "Let me make something clear, Mark," I said, voice low and steady. "I built this place from the ground up. Every brick, every late night, every ounce of sweat. It was all for my family. You might try to tear it apart, But you'll never shake me. I've held strong for 45 years. I'm not folding now. He hesitated, the first sign of uncertainty I'd seen in him, then forced a smirk and turned to leave. We'll see, he muttered. But I already knew this was just the beginning. I was ready. Earlier that day, he'd offered me some unsolicited advice, sitting across from me with that same condescending grin. You need to stop being the nice guy, he said. Take charge. Be dominant. That's how I got your wife, showed her who's boss. I moved before I could think. I stepped in and drove my fist straight into his jaw. The sound of his teeth cracking echoed off the shop walls. He slammed back against the wall, dazed. That was lesson 1. I yanked him up by the collar and delivered a brutal uppercut to his gut. He dropped to the ground, wheezing. Lesson 2. He reached out instinctively, but my boot crushed his hand, the bones snapping beneath my heel. That was lessons 3 and 4. His screams turned to groans as I slammed my foot into his chest, feeling ribs give way beneath the pressure. His face twisted in pain. Go ahead, Mr. Dominant, I said, my voice colder now. Let's keep learning. In high school, I'd promised myself I'd never use my strength to harm anyone. But Mark had made me break that promise. Blood dripped from his mouth as I lightly pressed my foot against his throat, keeping his attention locked on me. You could have walked away today. I was going to let you. But you pushed your luck. You wanted to teach me about power? Well, here it is. I pressed a little harder. People think the alpha leads because he's the biggest or the smartest. But it's really the one who doesn't hesitate. The one who never backs down. That's who leads. I eased off and watched him squirm. You're just a man in a suit playing tough in a world you'll never understand. He lay in a growing puddle of his own blood, barely moving. You've got choices now, Mark. You can report this. Maybe the cops arrest me. Maybe I make bail. Maybe I don't. Worst case, I do 5 years. 5 years to get better at this. More focused, more dangerous. And when I'm out, we'll pick this up again. I adjusted my shirt, standing over him. Or, you take this as a warning. A lesson. Stay out of my life, and out of my family's. I turned my back on him. That evening, Emily called him. Mark, where are you? I thought you'd be home by now. His voice was barely audible. I'm in the hospital. They had to move me to a different ward. What happened? She asked, alarmed. Was it a car accident? He paused before answering. I misjudged your husband. Thought I could handle him. He broke my nose, fractured my hand, ribs, maybe my cheek. That can't be, she said. Daniel's never been violent. Mark let out a weak cough. I can show you the scans. I need to sleep. The meds are starting to hit. The next night, she found herself stranded. No cash, no working cards, and an empty gas tank on a deserted road. She tried calling everyone she could. No one picked up, not even the kids. As the sun rose, a truck pulled up. She froze when she saw me step out. Get in, I said, not waiting. She obeyed, shaking. We drove in silence until I spoke. Here's how this goes. You'll file for divorce. No alimony, no asset split. Everything I built stays with me. She nodded quietly. You can keep whatever's yours. I don't care what reason you list in the paperwork. But once it's done, you leave town. The kids can see you if they choose, but not near me. She stared at me, lips trembling. If your things aren't out of the house by 11 a.m. tomorrow, I'll burn them. Simple. 5 days later, the divorce papers were on my desk. Months passed. I was legally free. Do I have regrets? Some. I regret losing my marriage. I regret that Emily couldn't recognize loyalty when it stared her in the face. But what I don't regret, what I'll never regret, is teaching Mark what real strength means.